Welcome to the Kaizoran experience. Over here, we're going to be talking about everything African. We're going to be having debates, discussions, entertainment, as well as learning about business, art, history, and everything in between. Cultural, tribalism, and everything. We're going to be out here debating with some really interesting stuff. So, like the video, share the video, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe for the best experience ever. This is the biggest channel on the Afrosphere. So come and join the team, become a Kaizoran, and join the Kaizoran Empire.
Universally exist within myself, within this premise, and I exist within this bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like the blue in the sky. I'ma fly like bird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma throw my bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma soar like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly like bluebird in the sky. I'ma fight like bluebird in the sky. I'ma eat like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be free like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Back again like the second coming. Strumming my vocal cords like the hummingbird in the sky. Y'all can't deny this. Real rap lyrics, it's like I ain't got no rhyming through the sky limit. What is skin tone, shade of color, but a parallel form of frequency like a ringtone on your phone. Melanin expression tied up in the universe, feeling like God. Is this really us? Is it serious? Is it really wrong to be diverse? I'm a divergent, immerse myself like an ocean beneath this waves. Be a divergent, born to be different. Indigo child, wild like canary. Born to be a bluebird in the sky, flying high like a bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Everybody scream bluebird in the sky. I'ma fly high, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. Yeah, bluebird in the sky. Everybody, bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bluebird in the sky. I'ma be like bone black, sweet like a berry. Flying high like a canary. Scary with my hoodie on. Hating on my vibe on the street that you'll be feeling my frequency of the song. But I know that I ain't never ever gonna be ever the same. But I know.
What's good? What's good? Shalom to everyone. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and send some love with some fast super chats or super thanks if you're watching the replay. So today we're going to be talking about Ghanaian descent woman who's actually from the UK, from Britain, who lost her life most likely due to murder. Right? The police have confirmed that it's murder. They even claim they have a suspect that has actually admitted to the crime. Now, I'm a little bit suspicious over the suspect admitting to the crime. However, that's just my speculation. I'll go through the facts and I'll tell you which parts have been confirmed by whom and which parts are obviously just my own opinions and musings, right? So we have a lady, a beautiful woman. Her name is SHAKINA CHINEDU. I don't know if that's a government name, but that's the name that we know her of. I'm going to share an image of her, and it's a little bit sad. Yeah, she's actually a Black British woman from Ghana originally. This is her over there. She has several children, and it's sad that she lost her life. Right, she was unalive. She was murdered in Gambia, and she was a Pan-Africanist as well. However, there are certain issues that I want to bring up about the sister, and of course, I'm not doing victim blaming, but I will like to use her as a lesson to learn if you want to go back to Africa, how to survive in Africa and not get yourself in this situation. Unfortunately, Africa right now is the Wild West. People will be getting jealous of your wealth, your success, and they will be wanting what you have. And some of them will be willing to do whatever it takes to get it. So SHAKINA CHINEDU murdered in the Gambia for £1,000. There is some relevance there. So we'll go ahead and read this article, then also react to a video by O'Shea a little bit, and then we'll see what's good, spellcaster. Shout out to you. over there. So British citizen Shakina Chinedu, she was 60 years old, and she used to work as an equality and diversity manager at Harlow, right, district, etc. And she had some skills and knowledge in the legal process, etc. Now she decided to go to Gambia, right, in 2017, because of the whole Blaxit movement. A lot of African descended people were feeling some sort of way about the racism, the lack of acceptance, and the lack of spiritual um, sort of fulfillment living in the UK and other countries around the world, America, Canada, etc. So she decided to go and relocate her life, right? And she already had the kids. The kids are all grown up, so they don't need her anymore to be there with them. So she could go and retire and perhaps add some value to her African continent. Now, it's kind of interesting. She didn't go to Ghana because she went to Gambia. I thought that if she's of Ghanaian descent, it might be much better for her to actually, open shop in Ghana. But she decided to go for Gambia. There was a huge um, excitement around Gambia at that time. Same with Ghana, but Gambia had this particular excitement, and of course, there's a lot of Black Americans in the Gambia. She went there and she set up shop, and she was relatively okay. She was relatively doing well until the 14th of February 2024, when it was confirmed that her body was found a couple days later, most likely due to murder. Now that's the story so far over there, right? Shakina's daughter had reportedly traveled from London to the Gambia to celebrate her mother's 60th birthday and handed her £1,000 as a gift. A worker on her property had allegedly confessed to the police that he killed Chinedu for the money. Now, there's a lot of stuff here. Look, for me personally, right, when it comes to Africa, you cannot believe what the police say. You can't believe what anyone in authority say, because things here don't work the same way that they do in other countries. There is no due process. There is no people doing the actual investigation the right way. For all we know, the confession could have been gotten out of him through torture or other dubious methods. So I don't even necessarily believe that that worker is the one that killed him. And if he is the one, then that's fine. Go through the legal process. He's already admitted to it, the crime. The murder weapon has been discovered, etc. So most likely he'll end up in prison, perhaps for his life, right? Because there's evidence that he's actually he's gone out there confessing. And of course, I don't think the brother even would know how to get a good lawyer if he was forced to confess, because in Africa, you cannot trust that the police will do things the correct way. Chinedu's family last heard from her on the evening of the 13th February. The Gambia police force have arrested a 30-year-old male suspect who is from Sierra Leone. Again, something that's interesting here as well is that the suspect is not Gambian, right? So I'm just putting it out there, right? In Africa, the Gambia, especially in this case, have been getting death of Black American women for a while, and other, bad negative news. So what I'm trying to say is we cannot trust the police that this is the actual killer just because he's confessed, right? You don't understand how Africa works. There's dubious methods of getting confessions from a suspect. And in this case, this person just happens to be from Sierra Leone. What that would mean is Gambia would be off the hook for the murder because it wasn't a Gambian citizen. So yes, she was murdered. That's a fact, right? There's been her body's been found with marks. She was found near a well with wrapped around a cloth. So there is definitely harm and ill intent. So she was murdered. The police claim that they found the suspect. However, I am not too sure about that, but that's just my own opinion, because as I mentioned, this is Africa. Things don't always go the way that you think they're going, right? The £1,000 cash was found at his home following a search. In the clip below, Chinedu, a mother of two, spoke about reasoning behind a decision for for her to leave the UK for the Gambia. Now here we're going to watch a video of her explaining a little bit of what led to her to decide to relocate and adventure into Gambia.
So you see the difference. Even though I was born there and I should be able to say, yes, it was wonderful there, but it wasn't. The discrimination is still there. My parents faced it in the 60s. I faced it, as I was growing up. My children are facing it. It's not changing for us. So it's in.
So she's talking about discrimination. Yeah, I mean, look, you are black, right? You are of African descent, and you are living in the United Kingdom, which is a majority white British nation, right? Over 80%, I believe, of the population are of a white British descent, right? So if that's the case, of course, you're not going to be treated as the main character. You're not going to be able to be accepted and given the respect that you want automatically, like you would in an African nation, whereby everyone else looks similar to you. So that means when people look like you, it means that there is certain allowances that you have and respect when things go wrong, that you will basically be seen as you'll be treated with respect. You will be the victim, right? When things go wrong in a black nation, but in the UK, you will be seen as a perpetrator without as the initial thing. So I get it, right? You feel a certain way about how you're going to be treated around the UK, and you're tired of it. You're 60 years old. You've given birth to a couple children. Now you want to go and retire your life while helping Africans and reconnecting with a place that other people will love you. I'm not against this.
Imperative that we come home and we build Africa so that we don't make the statements that you made about the political instability, the poorness. Africa is a rich continent, and everybody else can
Yeah, I don't know what people mean by rich, right? Because clearly people like to do this, right? And it's usually poor people that like to do this. Africa is not rich, right? We have resources which are untapped. We have human resources. We have a lot of young men and women who can work and add value. We have a lot of natural resources, which, if they were exploited the right way by us, by we can add value to them and sell it at a much better cost. But we don't have cash flow, right? When people say rich, they're not talking about whether it has um, you know, wealth, right? We're not talking about wealth. We're talking about rich. Richness is to do with cash flow, right? We don't have cash in Africa flow as much as we do in the West. So let's not try to say Africa is rich. Africa is wealthy. We have the wealth, but it's not in liquid form, right? We need to be able to add value to it in order for us to have cash, right? And for us to be rich. Yes, we have wealth, but we're not rich. And let's not try to let's not try to always try to figure out another way of saying these things.
see that except us. This is why other people are coming here, but we're not coming here. So we need to come here and we need to enjoy the fruits of Africa.
How do you
Generally, I agree with that, right? I think if you're ready to take the move, you can definitely win in a lot of African countries, and there's also countries which I wouldn't avoid. Look, Gambia to me is barely a country. It's a river in West Africa, right next to Senegal. It's not really a country. It's like a small town in a real country, right? With a population of 2 million people, you're not going to a country. You're going to a town. So if you're gonna go and leave, pack your bags, go to a town, and then you're going to put yourself in risk, right? A lot of risk, right? Is Gambia medically proficient for your needs? Well, you need to do your own research, right? If you come to Kenya, for example, the Aga Khan Hospital, great, it's world standard hospital that can cater to your needs. Will the Gambia, if you have a chronic illness, for example, on your eyes or other chronic situations, is it equipped for them to treat you? It depends on you and the person. Do this research. Figure out if the country you're going to in Africa is equipped to give you what you need. Personally speaking, the countries I would recommend, right? South Africa, I recommend Namibia, I recommend Botswana, Kenya, and even Uganda is not bad, right? These are the sort of the countries. Nigeria is a little bit more xenophobic in a way that I don't recommend it, just because Nigerians don't really care about foreigners that much. Nigerians care about themselves, so I would not recommend Nigeria necessarily, but I would definitely not recommend the Gambia. Like, there's no way I would recommend the Gambia.
adapt to a country that struggles a lot economically, and even when it comes to basic necessities like food, water, electricity, the on and offs of electricity? You've been in the UK all your life and you've not experienced such kind of things. How are you going to adapt in the Gambia?
Because it's the mindset. If you're coming home to Africa, you have to come home with a different mindset.
No, 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 no. Listen. This is the kind of the Pan African Babel stuff that I am not for. Mindset, bro. If you ain't got no electricity, you ain't got no water, right? Food is there, right? Definitely, but the water availability in some countries, you're gonna be out there having water cut-offs. Water is only available on certain days. or certain months, what goes off for like a whole week. No, these are not things that you should ever have to, basically cope. When they say your mindset, it's about your mindset. What they're trying to tell you is you just need to cope. No, you don't need to do that, right? You can go to specific areas in specific countries that you can get everything that you're used to and accustomed to in America, in the UK, and you can easily find them. Accra, Ghana, right? You can find these things. Nairobi, Kenya, Mombasa, you can find these things, right? Johannesburg, right? Pretoria in South Africa, you can find these things. There are countries that have constant electricity, constant water, and food availability whenever you want, right? There's supermarkets, they're stocked. There's even the local merchants who provide these things in excess. I do not recommend you going to somewhere and then start struggling. You won't be able to deal with it just because you coped. All right. This whole mindset discussion is what they're trying to tell you is just coping. Never have to cope. The moment you're coping, you're already reducing your potential happiness because you're no longer actually living for you, but you're living for some idea, right? Idealism, I do not recommend that. Uh, Zulia says, how can they not have water and they're around a river? Lack of logistics, Zulia, right? I don't know, like I mentioned before, Africans in general don't like, or rather, they don't like, or they just don't care enough about providing a good living situation for other people. It's not like they can't do it, right? Whenever we're in these discussions with people, I always get frustrated when people keep bringing up like the West and how they're controlling our politics. They always say the same stuff, which are irrelevant. I live on the ground. I know the only reason why we don't have water secure in most African countries, especially the ones with rivers, is because of logistics, right? Someone eats the money for the logistics, right? To get the truck. Like, let's say, let me give you an example, right? The government will have a tender saying, okay, there's perhaps a marginalized community in Turkana region in Kenya. Okay, Turkana is part of, I believe, Marsabit, right? County. Okay, cool. So there's money that is dedicated for that project, right? To get the water there, right? Whether it's through pumping the Lake Turkana or other means, a tender is offered. A service provider will go and bid for that tender. Because of corruption, they'll give it to their friends, right? Or their family member. The person takes the tender. He's been told to deliver 20 gallons of water, right? Sorry, 20,000 gallons of water. Do you know what they do? They deliver like 10,000. Then they keep the money, extra money on top of the money that they're paid of the other half of the 10,000 gallons that they didn't give. This is why logistics, Zulia, right? People, we are, I would say we're some of the most corrupt people without foresight of how corruption actually impacts us, our children, and our family members in the future. It's a special kind of corruption because in the West, they are corrupt also, of course. However, their corruption is so minimal that the countries are still able to function and move forward. Also, because of the looting that they did, they can still actually afford to be corrupt a little bit. We can't afford to be corrupt, right? China removed corruption. In a lot of these countries that you've seen exponential growth, remove corruption and they're able to move forward. But for us, we're corrupt. Logistics also, Zulia, we just don't like doing things to an excellent level. We're not perfectionists, or we're very far from it. I believe that's the main reasons.
And peace amongst Africans and the African diaspora. But the first interview that I've ever seen of her was when she was interviewed by Gambia. Let's play the first part of it.
Political instability. Also,
back to Africa when it's so corrupt and there's so many problems. But the response she's about to give will shock you.
Wow, you made some sweeping statements there. Political instability, poor economy. That's not the Africa that I see. That's the Africa.
Yeah, that's the Africa that you saw, sis, and that's the Africa that unalived you, unfortunately. Poverty is why you were killed, right? Assuming the police are saying the truth about that Sierra Leonean, it's even irrelevant if he's the one who killed you. You died because of poverty, sis, right? You died because of poverty. That's shout out to Ike, get a life. You died because of poverty. Look, you went to a river, right? That you call a country. You apparently were working with some Sierra Leonean worker who you underpaid, most likely, right? Probably wasn't documented in Gambia. and then he killed you for £1,000. Apparently, according to the police, I don't believe that. That person just apparently killed you, didn't leave, didn't take the murder weapon, didn't take the money, just stayed there in your little estate, and then the police were able to get a confession from it. All of that is fishy. Then you find out that this guy was killed because, again, he's Sierra Leonean. There is no evidence who even he is, right? So yeah, he's just gonna leave the country. This is definitely fishy, right? I don't believe anything that the police have stated so far. I think they're trying to cover up a Gambian who killed her, right? And to make the country look good. But anyway, sis, let's go ahead.
Africa that the BBC and the CNN tells us about. Africa's our home as black people, and we have to make it what it is. If you think the West was paved with gold, it wasn't. I was born in the UK.
It's kind of interesting when Africans do this, right? Like, you think the UK or US is paved with gold. Like, why are you looking at extremes? Like, bro, yeah, if you compare the UK to the Gambia, the UK is literally paved with gold, right? There's literally tarmac on the floor, right? Tarmac everywhere, right? It's not dusty. It has systems. It has free healthcare, etc. Stop this. Africans really annoy me when they start doing this. They start lying to people, right? And start telling them that the UK or America is not great. America is great. The UK is great. You're going to get a huge, nice exchange rate. You can feed your family and feed yourself. I will never stand for this nonsense that these Africans keep promoting, right? Comparing the UK to the Gambia is literally like comparing a Chinese toilet and a five-star hotel's toilet in America. Very, very different experiences.
But I was always made to know I was never accepted there.
Yeah, and these people with this whole acceptance nonsense, right? It's like, I've never understood it, right? Never could get along with people like this. Like, what do you mean acceptance? You have your children, you have your friends, you have your family. What acceptance are you talking about, right? You want to go around feeling like you own the country. Look, again, if you don't like the country because you don't like the FE, the social experience, then fine, go to an African country. You'll probably prefer it, right? Fair enough.
As a black person, so you see the difference. Even though I was born there, and I should be able to say, yes, it was wonderful there, but it wasn't. The discrimination is still there. My parents faced it in the 60s. I faced it, as I was growing up. My children are facing it. It's not changing for us. So it's imperative that we...
Yeah, so she ran away from apparently racism, which I never faced in the UK, right? So that she can get killed by a Sierra Leonean over £1,000. And apparently Africa isn't filled with poverty and no running water. Okay.
Come home and we build Africa so that we don't make the statements that you made about the political instability, the poorness. Africa is a rich continent and everybody else can see that except us. This is why other people are coming here, but we're not coming here. So we need to come here and we need to enjoy the fruits of Africa.
You see, she was trying to change the...
Look. I have nothing wrong with you leveraging your power, right? You have British pounds, which is one of the strongest relevant. It is the strongest relevant currency, right? In terms of exchange rates, right? When you're giving it to other countries, right? So yeah, there's nothing wrong with you using the British pounds and saying, hey, you know what? Gambia is a poor country. I want to go and build a mansion in Gambia and then enjoy the fruits of my labor in the UK. The UK was where I got the money, right? The UK was my bank account, right? I didn't want to be part of the UK system. For whatever reason, it's irrelevant. In our case, it's acceptance, right? And then go there and exploit Gambia for your own benefit. Perhaps if you want to give Gambians a job, fair enough, right? Nothing wrong with that. Problem with these people that come here with some kind of savior victim mentality, thinking that they will make a difference and that somehow Africa is better. That's a false narrative that they always have. No, America is better. America is the best country in the world. The UK is like the third best country in the world. Gambia is like the worst river in the world. 2 million population, river with a GDP or less than my left toe, right? No. James says, Africans worship the white man so they won't touch or hurt him. Exactly. What? Yeah. The reason why is here, though, James covers for the white man is they are afraid that things will, things will get accelerated. But yeah, you're right. In this case, this man apparently killed this woman, and didn't even run away.
Brother's mindset about how powerful Africa can be. She talked about the West, that, hey, what you see in America right now is not always how it was. They too had a starting point and they built it up together.
Yeah, that's not true. Look, America started with slaves, right? They started with a debt that the slaves paid off, right? Chattel slavery is what made America strong enough so that they can now start competing with the world. Let's just look at the facts, right? It's not like the Americans made black people work hard, right? So I guess they worked hard in making black people work hard. Fair enough. Um, no, look, let's not use America. Let's use the UK or some other country that actually didn't use slavery in order to gain its wealth, right? The UK was already rich before slavery, basically. That's my point. Portugal was already rich. France, these countries were already successful prior to slavery, right? So I would have used those examples rather than using America. America gained its richness through Black Americans.
Why not Africa? People like you, and I'm talking about her towards him, are the ones with that negative mindset towards the continent, and that is why we are not developing. Let's stop the show. Wow, I feel exactly like her. Unfortunately, all you need is a few people who have that same mentality that that person has to be deadly. Rewind! Unfortunately, last week, this young lady, and I will say she's young, lost her life. Lost her life to who? Well, it seems like the police have found out who the individual in.
Disclaimer: whoever the police is claiming killed this young woman, I don't believe it even a little bit. There's so much issues with everything. I mean, that police looks so low IQ as well. You're gonna see everything that I'm saying in a second as the video is being played again. But no, I don't believe anything that this police officer is saying. Yeah, the woman was killed by someone. We don't know who yet. I think it's a Gambian who killed her, but the police are saying that it was the Sierra Leonean, a perfect scapegoat.
The motive is and what the motive was. Let's play the clip.
I would just give a brief facts regarding the case of SHAKINA CHINEDU, who is a British national resident in the Gambia here. The resident is at Brusubi. She was reported missing on Wednesday, the 14th of February, 2024. After when the issue of the missing of this Chinedu came, the police swiftly get into the matter, investigate, and then a suspect was apprehended. The suspect definitely, helped the police during the course of the investigation.
Yeah, Kifaru, it's called intuition. The police are lying about this, and I'll tell you, I have evidence. All right, I'll show you the evidence. But this, as Ike said, there's zero chance that the person they're claiming killed the woman is the same person. This is an obvious lie. I'll show you. I have evidence, Kifaru. But again, for all intents and purposes, I am not God. Therefore, I cannot tell you that it's 100% wrong. I can only give you my opinion. I'm a comedian. Shout out to YouTube. But yes, I'll give you the evidence, Kifar, right now. If you don't have the intuition to see through African liars, then you're going to suffer with your business.
And then the police were able to get admission.
Oh, okay. So step number one, Kifaru. The guy apparently, right? Okay, I have no evidence. That's fine. The guy apparently kills this woman, right? Motivation is money, 1,000 pounds that she has, and doesn't leave the property, right? The guy's still living around. He took the 1,000 pounds, didn't spend it, just still live around that property, right? And that's already the thing. Then he also admits to it to the police. Let's go ahead.
From the suspect, he confessed of doing the act, and then he led the police to recover the properties that he stole after.
Yeah, so first he goes around and confesses immediately, right? No, doesn't even think through it, just confesses. Yeah, I did it, right? To murder, right? Kifaru, this is someone confessing to murder. They're not confessing to stealing things, right? Okay, so that's the first thing that's going on. This guy was tortured, most likely by these people. If they even have evidence of the confession, we don't even know if they have the confession. This is just what they're saying, right? Exactly. Confessions in Africa are fake. That's just something you know, right? So let's go ahead.
Murdering Madam Chinedu. And then the police definitely went back with him to the crime scene. Chinedu is on a construction at a new site at Madina Alaji. It's a village between Kunkuja Mariama and Mahmuda. That's where she was murdered by the suspect, Augustine Bangura, who is a Sierra Leonean national.
Okay, the second clue is it just happens to be a Sierra Leonean national. He's not a Gambian national, right? That's the second clue. Okay, let's go ahead.
During the course of the investigation, the keys of Sakina were recovered from the suspect. He kept them at the residence where he is in Bakote. And then we also recover some of the items that were stolen from the deceased.
So as you can hear, this woman was building her home somewhere far away from the main city, from what I understand.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest issue there, right? As a single black woman in a shithole like Africa, you shouldn't be living away from civilization, and you shouldn't be living in an area where only one man or two men or worksmen, whatever you want to call it, have access to you. Uh, no, this whole village life thing, unless you're going back to your own village, they've known you, you give back to that village. I've talked about this so many times on this channel, right? People are going to get jealous and unalive you. Again, I don't believe this guy, this clown that they're claiming killed her is the one, but someone did kill her, right? That much is fact, right? We know someone killed her, but we don't know who killed her yet. So I just don't recommend going around living in some dusty village somewhere with a bunch of dusties who you're probably not paying that well, and someone's going to kill you. Kifaro, because these are people that love that whole idea of going to some random secluded village, building a house, and just living with nature. It's insane, but that's the kind of people that she is.
Understand. So she had bought some land, had an assistant with her, but the assistant that was with her.
And also, Kifaro, so I've given you two evidence, right? First, they got a confession, apparently. Secondly, yeah, Sierra Leonean national. I'll show you the third piece of evidence. The police also recovered the murder weapon, and that's the third piece of evidence that this is all stupid and lies. I'll show you.
As you heard the guy's name, I'm not going to repeat it, but this guy is a Sierra Leone citizen, not a Gambian citizen. And he took a hammer and he hit her with it and killed her. And then robbed her for some money, went and took her belongings, the whole nine. When they found the man, he also had a handgun on him. But this is also interesting. Like, did you notice the fact?
Look, if even O'Shea is skeptical about this whole case, yeah, just know, Kifaru, that this is all fake.
That the police officer has the weapons there and he's showing it to the public.
He confessed to the police that he used a hammer. And the hammer he...
Okay, third piece of evidence, Kifaru. This retard over here is holding, with no gloves, right? Look at that. No gloves, holding a hammer, which, first of all, I don't see any blood on that hammer, right? Yes, the quality is kind of small, but I don't see any hammer. Fine. Maybe there was no blood on the hammer. Maybe it was a blunt force trauma that killed the woman, right? But here's the issue, right? He's holding this hammer with his bare little... stinky little African hands with no gloves. So you're going to claim someone killed someone. You're holding a murder weapon like that. You're also presenting the murder weapon, right, over there to the public before the case is even closed, right? Because again, just because you got an admission doesn't mean that if it goes to court, you can claim that, you know, these people tried to torture me and whatever it is. You cannot go out there bringing shit like this to discovery in any country, right? And then also holding the camera, the murder weapon, with your bare little stinky African hands, and you're not even wearing gloves and just parading it around. There's literally no evidence anymore because you've tainted it. Yours, your police officers, and everybody else fingerprints are on it. No, it's Kifaru. This is actually some low IQ police officer who can't even set someone up properly. If you actually believe this, your IQ needs to be questioned, Kifaru.
used is this hammer. So he led the police to recover this hammer based on his own confession. He hit the disease with this hammer on the neck, at the back of the neck, and then the suspect collapsed.
I was listening to Raising the Vibe, and she also saw that too. Let's play what she had to say about that, and we're going to come back.
Some of you know I'm a lawyer here in America, and let me just say there is no circumstance under which a police commissioner would, and the police would bring items that were used to kill a deceased, as well as items that were.
Kifaro, sometimes I really do wonder how low your IQ is. How is me being a police officer got to do with anything? I've heard you say stupid shit like this before. You're not an economist, so Kifaro, are you actually? Sometimes I really do think you're you're retarded. How is me being a police officer relevant to anything I'm saying right now? A police officer, you could have even been high IQ and said you're not a lawyer or something relevant, someone that has actually understands the law and the legal proceedings, or I'm not a prosecutor. At least you could have elevated that low IQ argument to the next level. But you literally said the dumbest thing here. Being a police officer is the least relevant part of this situation, right? And she is saying the same thing, and she's a lawyer. Like, again, I'm using your own low IQ arguments here. Kifaru, you need some help, right? This is obviously a lie. Right, this is obviously them trying to make it not look like it was a Gambian who killed her, so that Gambia still looks safe for black people to moving there. This is obvious, right? If you can't see through shit like this, Kifaru, honestly, you are low IQ. I know nothing about police investigations. Okay, Kifaru. Okay.
Taken from the deceased in connection with the death to an outdoor press conference, and then have those items handed up to him with his bare hands and hold them up for everyone.
Kifaru, I can tell you, if this was Kenya and he did that, holding with his bare little stinky African hands the murder weapon, that would be tainted evidence and it would be inadmissible in court. Without the fingerprints of the person that claims that they killed someone, right? Because there's also obstruction of justice. The prosecutor and the lawyer, right? The public lawyer would ask for prints, right? At the very minimum, even if you have a confession, if there's no prints or there's no like blood splatter, right? Anything that links you to that place, that would no longer be admissible to court, right? Over here.
To view. Here in America, that would be tainted evidence. We need to be able to obtain fingerprints from that evidence. And we also have what is called the chain of custody.
Now, that's the difference between, some African nations in America.
Yeah, I know shit here is just capping. He doesn't want to outright say that this is bullshit.
Something like that, tampering with evidence, would never be the case. But unfortunately, I'm going to go back to something that a lot of people on this channel are going to criticize me for. Let me put a disclaimer here. I am not blaming this beautiful sister for her losing her life. She had children. She wanted to come back to Africa, just like Anja Africa and the other sisters out there who have also lost their lives. I'm not blaming the victim here. Okay? But I do want to play this clip from Brother Dinas Tamir because it's going to be very pertinent. It's important. We are out here trying to save lives and make sure and this is me as a black man, I want to make sure that women are safe on the continent of Africa, especially if you're from the diaspora. Let's play the clip.
I want to share this with the women. This is specifically for the women. Okay. And please do not take this the wrong way. I am not being misogynistic, however you say the word, but we just got to have an honest conversation here. Okay. And especially when it comes to the Gambia, but really when it comes to a lot of other African countries. But specifically when it comes to the Gambia, this is going to be my advice moving forward. Because in the past, I want to say 6 months, we've had 5 or 6
All right, shout out, beautiful sister. What if she was ugly? Yeah, I think when they say beautiful, they mean everyone is beautiful, right? Otherwise, yeah, that argument wouldn't work. Yeah, they call anyone they like beautiful. Um, they are using Africa as a revenue stream and exploitation of diasporans. Definitely true. Um,
Expats, women, who have met their demise under very, very weird circumstances. When it comes to the Gambia, all right, this is my advice. If you are a single woman, don't go. Don't move there. All right. If you're a single woman, do not move to the Gambia as a single woman. Period. That just leave it alone.
yeah, look, it's yes, being a woman obviously puts you at certain risks in a country like Africa, right? Africa is not the safest country out there, right? Africa has poverty rates that are some of the highest in the world. If you compare Africa to other countries like India, China, etc., Africa is, the poorest of them all, right? So when you're living with poverty-stricken people and you're not giving them what they expect to get from you, again, remember, Africans get expectations, right? They're working with a big man, right? They're chilling with the big boys, right? They want to bamba, right? And you're not giving them something that makes it seem like their lives is elevated. They're gonna plan and plot against you, right? They're gonna claim that you're the criminal, right? And say that you're the criminal, right? You're the one who murdered someone, or they're going to kill you and get your things. There's different ways Africans will get you, right? The motive is not always money. The motive could be just to destroy your life as well. The motive is sometimes money because of poverty, but it all goes down to the feeling. So let me give you context, right? You, Black American woman, Black man, tired of racism, living in the white man's sweet palace, go and move to Africa so that you can find a sense of respect. Fine, you get the respect, right? Because you're now the big man. You have the big money. You have the accent, right? What do you think will happen? People get jealous of you, right? And they'll kill you, right? White man is not killing you because he hates niggas, right? That rarely happens. But the African will kill you because he thinks that you think you're better than them. I'm just saying it, right? If you're running away from racism, think twice, right, about your decision to move to Africa. Africans will kill you for very petty reasons of status, right? Because you think your status is better than their status. They will plot, plan evil against you. That's the truth, right? Whether you move to a village or not, it doesn't really matter. But of course, when you're living in secluded areas where you don't even have neighbors close to you, yeah, of course, the chances it's going to be easier for them to do it.
Now, see, I've been called a hater and everything in the book. You hate black women, you dislike black women. And then now we see that this was a woman that was out and entrusted herself with a man that she did not really, maybe she knew him, maybe she didn't know him, but that man killed her for over £1,000 or for something that's little money. She's traveling alone with this guy. Now she's deceased, right? I believe that would have been a much different story if she would have had a husband or a son with her or somebody that she can trust. Most people would think, why would somebody want to kill somebody over £1,000 of some laptops and knowing they're going to get caught? Because criminals are stupid. They are dumb, okay? And this is what Dynas has been saying. Coming to the continent by yourself is not a smart thing to do if you're a lady, especially from what we've been hearing in Gambia. That's the reality. Now, I want to play this other clip of Angie Africa talking about when you come to the Gambia, people watching your every moves. Let's play the clip.
Aware of what's going on in Gambia. There's been some suspicious deaths in the Gambia, and people have been suspect about it, but I don't know that people have really told all that they know.
Zulia, this guy's low IQ. Now he's saying, Dr. Z, incels is voluntary. Bro, by definition, right? Incel literally means involuntary celibate. Dr. Z, you'll lose your brain cells if you try to talk to this guy. But anyway, guys, The panel is open if you want to come in and give your opinions about this case, about moving back to Africa, doing trade, doing business, and generally how the system works in Africa.
A lot of it is related to single women in the Gambia. So first, let me give you a little just preview of what happens when you come to Gambia single, okay? You may have it in your mind that you're not trying to date anyone. You just come in here to live your best life. Well, honey, from the time you get your feet on the ground, and I'm talking from the airport, people already have their eyes on you, okay? They know what area you're going to. It's been reported where you're going to be living. There'll be that one person that thinks, well, I'm going to be the person to get that individual because that's going to be my cash cow.
So the people you think that you can trust also could be a person looking to do something to you, especially if that person is earning low wages. Let me talk about earning low wages in Africa now. Of course, people do earn lower. Purchasing power is lower. But there was a case here in Uganda about a year ago where you had a big time MP that was shot by his bodyguard because the bodyguard needed some money. He asked the person said no. He shot the person. Not too far from where our office is, okay? Shot the person, then killed himself. So you have to understand, if you're paying a person $60 a month, $70 a month.
Kifaro, can you tell us what you mean by that? Single womanhood should not be an issue. Anyway, what are you saying? Are you saying low?
And they see you going around with nice laptops. They see you going around with nice phones, and this person is doing very bad. People are going to take that into consideration. You know, like this heist. You know, me working for her, I wouldn't get this money in 3 years. I can get it today if I try this, and you know, if it doesn't work out, I can go back over to Sierra Leone and take this stuff with me. You just don't know. And this is one of the reasons why women have to be very careful. You know, when you're dealing with men that are foreign in any place, it's dangerous, right? Or women that are foreign is dangerous. So especially if you're alone, you have resources, and these men do not. Yeah, it's something that's waiting to happen that can wait to happen. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to our sister at all. I believe she was a beautiful mind, a beautiful heart.
Yeah. So the rest of the video is just him going around and just talking, right? But generally speaking, these people already are mentally ill. You know, you should never move somewhere because, and I hate to say, you know, should arguments, right? Because, you know, but if I'm giving advice, I guess the should becomes relevant. You should not move somewhere because of racism, right? America is not, the UK is definitely not killing niggas, right? However, Africans are, right? For money. Again, I still don't believe that Sierra Leonean did it, but someone did. Some dingy Gambian most likely killed her, right? According to my analysis. So she was killed by someone over some little things, perhaps a squabble, perhaps they had a relationship, because these old women are also going to the Gambia in order to find some monkey double backflips from some young, very attractive, sexy Gambian men, right? We've seen how these Gambian men look, right? These niggas look great, tall, very dark, right? Nice six packs and shit, skinny, but also strong. That's what they're there for. So to be honest, I think whoever really killed this woman definitely had some relationship squabbles. Maybe she threatened to leave the country. I have no idea, right? I'm only speculating here. But I believe that way more than whenever this dusty police officer came up on a press conference with no gloves, just touching some apparent murder weapon, etc. You know, that's definitely insane. And if we see that this Sierra Leonean apparently escaped or died, then you'll know that everything I'm saying is obviously correct, right? There's just so much wrong with everything that was being stated there on over there, right? But yeah, the point here is, if you're a woman, or if you're a man as well, don't go to some dingy village somewhere when you're not from that tribe. As I mentioned before, you're not going. If let's say you're in Ethiopia, you're not gonna. If as an Amhara, you're not gonna go live in the most dingiest, remote Oromo village. You'll die. If you're Kenyan, right, and you're Kikuyu, you're not going to go to the dingiest Somali village in Wajir County. You'll die. So you, as an outsider who doesn't even speak the local languages, think you're gonna come from the Black British, right, from the Queen's bosom, and go live in some dingy little tribal land, right, be doing better than other niggas out there, and you think you won't be targeted, right? They'll steal from you or they'll kill you, right? There's different ways, right? Exactly. Buy cats and watch soap operas, right? Or just come over for holiday. Like just go for 3 months at a time of the year, come back for holiday for 3 months, live in the cities, and go back, right? You can't survive here. This place, it doesn't work that way. Like, what do you think rich people in Africa live in secluded neighborhoods where you have to make an application to even join them? Right? There's some neighborhoods in Kenya where you can't even go just because you have money. You have to make an application. They need to see the character. You have to have had someone to recommend you to live in those neighborhoods. They can't just let anyone there, right? Whether you have money or not, because they don't trust Dusties, right? They want people that have a proven record of being civilized, right? So no, Africa is not it, right? I just don't recommend it for anyone unless you're coming here to do business. You're a man, you want to do business, and even then, you understand the risks, right? It is what it is. Dr. Z says, in UK, an African or Caribbean or Black British is most likely to kill me. Exactly. So if a Black British and or Caribbean is more like African Caribbean is more likely to kill you, right? Then what do you think you're doing going to Africa where everyone is African? It's sad, but I'm safe living in home counties around whites than blacks in parts of London, like Peckham, Tottenham. Yeah. Look. It's not even that sad, Zulia. This is just is reality, right? You don't. Again, it's not even that because they're blacks. It's just because these are low class, lowbrow people that don't have civilization, right? That's it. I mean, if you come to, let's say, Reading, where I was, black people there generally are fine. The crime is low, and these are not the criminals. There's no knife crime epidemic going on there, etc. So it depends where you're growing up slash living, and the people around you as well, right? Are these dingy people or are they slightly upper class people? Class is a huge differentiator. Only YouTube death threats I got were from British Africans and a Somali. Okay. Right, exactly. I think you're talking about that guy. What was his name? The one who was like a fake stoic, right? And Somalis, of course, as well. Only time I almost got punched out in hospital was from a British African. Wait, people are punching you out in hospital? That's crazy. Also, Zulia, why are you striking? Like, is your black genes showing up? Like, you just generally don't like working, so right now you decided to strike because you don't have to work, right? Is that what's really going on? You don't want to work, so you're striking so that you can basically not have to work, right? This is this is typical African stuff, right? This is typical African stuff, right? Not wanting to work. It's black and African stuff. We are more violent than other groups, therefore more than Indians and Chinese. Yeah, but look, Zulia, the issue with you guys, right, black people, is why do you keep like generalizing yourself as a whole group? Right? Do you think the Chinese go around seeing the Chinese from the dingy places and generalize them, right? Even if you go to America, there's three classes of Chinese people. There is the ones who are now succeeding because their parents forced them to work hard when they were young in all these tech companies, law firms, etc., who speak perfect English. Then there's the other generation of dusties who came here working as cleaners, salon managers, and convenience store owners, right? Then there's also the other one, right? New immigrants coming directly from China who are just out there working like roaches in the back of these Chinese restaurants. Do you think Chinese people see themselves as, oh, us Chinese people? You blacks, the issue I have with you guys is you don't like separating the classes, right? You just see everyone is the same. Right? We're all black. Oh, we're all oppressed, right? Everything that you guys do is somehow linked to your skin color, which is insane, right? If I come to Kenya, do you think I'm seeing myself Kenyan the same as I see some dusty from Kibera? Of course not. We're not the same. There's nothing about us that is same that is relevant to my life, right? The issue is you guys overextend the so-called similarities between all black people when the reality is you shouldn't be Yeah, you shouldn't be going around just seeing it as black, right? Yes, people in Tottenham, people in Peckham commit crime, and they happen to be black, right? But if you go to other areas like Reading, niggas ain't committing crime because the people there are much higher class than those dusties in that area, right? That's the truth. Yeah, look, Dr. Z, Kifaru's argument is that, because you keep talking negative about Africans and blacks, somehow you're Indian, right? That is actually that's oh my god, this guy's retarded. You just told him you're 96% sub-Saharan African, and he's asking the same question. Dr. Z, what is near black? He's just answered you there, right? He's 96% sub-Saharan African. That is DNA coming from sub-Saharans, right? Only 4% of it is non-sub-Saharan. So he's more or less black, right? Whatever that means. I don't even know why you're asking that question. Kifaru, I think you need to go and I don't know, revise your IQ chart, man. I don't know, like go speak to Philip Rushton, right? Ask him to like move your IQ points a little bit to the right, right? Like at least 10 points to the right. Just move it a little bit, right? What is cap? Shout out to the goat over there. Kaiser, I know you're easily fooled. Okay. I'm easily fooled. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. The word easily and fooled. I might not take extra precaution, but that doesn't mean I was fooled, right? Fooled is a little bit different. Fooled is believing something and getting bamboozled, right? That's a little bit different, right? Retarded show for retards. Ike says bye. What's good? Not European Arabs, slow a bit. Yeah, it is a bit retarded, to be honest, right? It's this is all very basic stuff that I'm saying about, I don't know, like black Americans going to Africa getting killed. It's like, yeah, take precautions. This is stuff that I could have done in like a 1 minute video, and it doesn't really need a whole stream just to actually go around expressing it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Definitely a retarded show. To be honest, I'm only doing this show because I need to go do have a meeting soon, and this was just for me to kill time. So there definitely was no real purpose behind it. Not at all. Definitely more of Indian and Chinese. In fact, yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna make some coffee, then I'll be back.
Nazarene.